Hi again, everybody. It's Susan Fleischer with ZTV and our special Spring to Action interview series. And I am so pleased to be joined here with James Ross, the music director from the Alexandria Symphony Orchestra. James, welcome.
Well, thank you, Susan. So nice to be here with you and Zebra and talking about the Alexandria Symphony.
Yes, it's great to have you. And speaking of the Alexandria Symphony, why don't you take a few minutes and let us know about you, about the organization, and what you guys do here in Alexandria?
Happily. Well, I was able to join the organization in their 75th anniversary season, which we all shared 2 years back. I came here from the University of Maryland, but also working with Carnegie Hall and the Juilliard School. So I'm an active conductor. Enjoyed very much and was very interested by this organization for a bunch of reasons, including its deep connection to community, its history, but also one of its education programs, which is called Simpatico, who is the special focus of our Spring to Action connection right now. Our organization gives about 5 or 6, 7 concerts a year, maybe the most famous of which is down at Orinoco Park every July with fireworks happening behind us. But we give a regular series in Schlesinger and at the Masonic Memorial, and I'm really proud to be the music director.
Well, that's fantastic, and they're very. You guys are always keep busy. Although, of course, I have to ask you the question that everybody asks: is what were the challenges? They seem obvious that you faced in 2020, but if you could just speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, performing arts organizations, as you know, worldwide, were just brought to a total halt. And very specifically, orchestras, you can't safely put 100 people on stage seated closely and listening closely to each other, and you can't put 800 to 1,000 people in any hall. So things just stopped. On the one hand, that felt tragic. None of us knew exactly who we were or how we justify ourselves as artists and musicians on the planet when we can't play for anybody or with anybody. But our organization specifically, I was really proud. We got involved with doing performances at retirement homes, outside, in parks, at community arts fairs and things. So when the weather was warm, we were actually playing a lot in very small configurations. So not as a full orchestra, but anywhere from 2 people up to about 8 or 9 people, spread out enough in order to be safe. And it was a real opportunity for us to address deeper questions of equity and access and diversity in classical music, which are just main kind of hot button topics in the world, and they need to be, very especially in classical music. We need to do a better, deeper, richer job of considering what we're playing, who is playing, and who we're playing for. And I think that we're coming out of this with just a real direction. It's very exciting.
That is exciting and fascinating to hear. And yet again, I'm always reminded, even as tough as this all is, of the very many silver linings that will be coming out of this. And just the fact of all of us having to recreate and innovate to do something. And the things we're discovering, I think of just wonderful, especially when you can.
Don't you agree with this, Susan? That we all say can't get back to normal, but there were things about normal that weren't actually so great, and so this is our chance to reboot, and with a new skill set that might be more virtual than we thought, kind of just rethink what all of us do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Now, I know that you have participated in Spring to Action before, so I wanted to ask you what were some of the impacts. How did it help you address your challenges, and what impact did those donations make for your organization?
Yeah, they've helped us in so many different ways, actually. I mean, one is basic. As you know, it's easy to justify grants for certain special projects, but actually operations budget is one of the things that in our past Spring to Actions have been most helped by donations. In other words, just getting our orchestra of 80 to 100 people on stage with everything and bringing classical music to a wide and loving community. That is what a Spring to Action has helped us do in the past, and we're very, very thankful for that. This year, as I specifically mentioned, we've got this focus on our education program in Simpatico, and we're going to be very much looking to come back after a year of not having been able to meet live. So, at its top, we had like 180 kids in 2 different Title I schools who were involved in our organizations. And this year we're down to about 50 who participate online. Oh, look at them. They're incredible. I love them.
They're adorable.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We have about 50 who are participating online twice a week after school, and we still have managed to do very creative things with them, except for the one fundamental thing that they really are there for, which is to create musical energy and creativity by playing with their peers. In other words, there's a real live component to it. But I'm proud of how the program has gone this year, and we're going to come back with an amazing flush of energy and to be able to meet again in person as of this September. Some of the kids are, of course, doing live school again now, but they have not allowed after school activities. So that will happen in the fall.
Yep. And I think that we're all hoping that we can kind of, be able to assemble again in the fall for sure. What, and that is one goal, and that's fantastic. But what do you want the community and your donors? How can they kind of help support you? What's one of the couple of things that interested people can do to help?
Yeah, well, I mean, help, it means also just like watching out for and coming to our concerts. That's always a good place to start, in that all of our programs aren't just a trotting out of music that they can hear very well played anywhere, but they're really programs that are thought of as being really right for Alexandria, who we are as a town. And this town has such a neat mix of old history, like being very conscious of where we're coming from, who lived here, founding fathers, all that, as well as being quite a progressive city as well. So somehow we have feet as an orchestra. We're kind of a metaphor for the city in a way that I think is beautiful. And so each of our concerts also features what we consider sort of unsung voices, people who haven't been given their due. And in many cases, that's female composers or diverse composers of a different kind. And that was going on even before COVID broke in and before Black Lives Matter became a really vital thing for all of us. So for us, it's pushed us even farther in that direction. So in terms of helping, well, just watch what we do, join our social media campaign if you'd like, and please just come to concerts, starting with fireworks on Alexandria's birthday celebration, which we very much hope to be giving in its fairly normal form this coming July. But even if not, then pick us up with Beethoven 9 in the fall.
Yes. Okay. Well, that sounds great. And I would urge anybody interested in your organization to also follow your Facebook page, because I saw you guys are posting some weekly meetings and collaborations that you're doing, which looks really interesting and certainly just what you described. What are your, besides getting back on stage and getting back into these programs that you love and are so important to everybody here in Alexandria, what are some other goals for 2021 for you?
So I've mentioned a few sort of on the way through. You mentioned those collaborations, which have been virtual between me and our artistic advisor, who's a wonderful musician named Lester Green, who is also kind of helping us sort of with questions of access and equity. And I'm really proud of those collaborations. They're called Post-Horn and Piano Talk, and they were especially meant to help us through the cold months when nobody could actually play together outside. And so Lester and I have been sending versions of things back and forth to one another. And they're important music, I think, by composers that you won't have heard of. But actually trying to serve the community in that we give concerts which are conscious of people's sensitivity to this world that we have come through and what it actually means for a live concert event to happen, and the way we think people will listen to concerts live. My goal is just to make every concert that we give next season have that certain special buzz that we've all missed. In other words, concerts can sound pretty good online, but actually being in the same acoustic space with the same air that every musician is breathing, not to have to be afraid of it, but to be joyous about sharing that space, and to know that you are contributing to the life of the concert, that every audience member, every person in the room is actually helping make something great happen. That's my primary goal, and I think we're all gonna feel it even more intently than we were able to
Oh,
before.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I love the way you describe it. There is something very special about being there in person. It's kind of where the art is made when you can really be, you're all sharing the experience in person together.
If I
So,
can just say, it's like that the intensity of your listening actually helps us play better or differently. Like that you
sure.
feel the air and the human presence of everybody who's around you, even in outdoor concerts, oddly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm real. I just can't wait to be in that space with
Fantastic.
Alexandrians again.
Fantastic. And then we'll end on I want you to fill in the blank. If you want to repeat after me, I sprang to action because.
I spring to action because my legs are full of energy and my heart is full of joy, and that Alexandria is just a very, very cool town to be living
It
in.
is. It is. Thank you so much, James. What a pleasure to meet you. Looking forward to seeing performances by your great organization again, and good luck with Spring to Action this year.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate your interview and your help.
Sure thing. Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Take care. Have a great spring. Yeah.